Eyes up, Guardian.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the Destiny Party podcast. I'm your host, BMG, and I am joined by my co-host, Shadow Mall. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you doing?
All good, all good. Oh, your microphone's gone funny again. I
don't know.
Jeez, literally go live and it goes funny. All right, well, I'll come to the others and then I'll come back to you if you want to restart and what have you. And I am joined tonight by two special guests. Our first guest being back from the dead. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just been playing a little bit of Destiny to stay current on the story, and playing some more Diablo 4 up to World Tier 3 and level 54 on Rogue. Having a lot of fun with that, jumping in with friends and playing solo. So yeah, I got to complete the campaign and starting to get into the end game. Really good.
Awesome news. And we're also joined by Triple Combo Gaming. Good evening, sir. How are you and what have you been playing?
Excuse me if my voice goes in and out. It happens. I'm doing pretty well. I've been playing. Well, I just started picking up a Borderlands 3 again with my friends and got back into Hellblade just to try to get the last trophy I had, and Destiny, just trying to get some of the weekly challenges taken care of. I say finally, but since the season happened, I completed my Guardian rank just to go back to 6 because I didn't bother with it at all last season. I did not level up, and it's like, you're still level 6. I was like, oh, great. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. Doing the seasonal activity, not too familiar with all of them because I've been on and off with the 3-man activity where you do like 4 tiers. I've just been doing that and trying some builds with my hunter. So that's what I've been up to.
Good. Yeah, I've not had much chance to play much game wise. Like work wise, this time of year for me is like really, really busy. So it's trying to fit things in and do stuff. But for everyone out there, just want to say happy Father's Day to all the amazing dads out there. Keep doing the amazing job you're doing. Everyone loves you for it. And one of my gifts for Father's Day, I got a new Xbox Series controller because my original one that I got with the console had very bad right stick drift. And literally, I'd walk along and I'd just like fly up in the air, looking up, and wasn't very good. So got a new controller today. So I was quite glad of that because it kind of stopped me being able to play much like Destiny wise because I could come forward, I could shoot, but then literally seconds later I'm pointing in the sky. So it was like, what's the point? No. But other than that, all I've really dipped a bit into is Star Trek Resurgence, which dropped last week before. Which is more like that Detroit Become Human, Until Dawn type thing. It's a story that's playing out. You make decisions as you go along. So other than that, that's all for me. Chadamal, are you back yet, or are you still roboty?
I've changed my headset mic, so I don't know if it's any better or not.
It's better.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. You're back. So
sweet.
I'll come back to you. How are you this evening, and what have you been playing for this past week?
Well, I'm good. I've been playing mainly F1 with a little bit of Destiny2 sprinkled in there. Yeah, it's been racing hard on the F1.
You like your racing games, don't you? Quite into them.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, I've not been able. I said I've not been able to really dive into much Destiny wise. I think I've got last week's and this week's story stuff, seasonal story content that I need to do. So I think that's going to be tomorrow's job. Tomorrow evening for the UK time. I think I'm going to jump in, get caught up story wise. Because I've just not had the time, so it's we're gonna get caught up. So tonight's podcast includes future of Destiny 2, our showcase predictions, as well as this week at Destiny, which used to be called This Week at Bungie, as they have now changed the name.
Yeah.
Yes, all new name, all exciting things, and a bit of a look into the future. So let's jump in and start. I think we'll start with because I'm assuming we all seen the at the PlayStation Showcase. We all saw the Destiny 2 teaser for the final shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Briefly. I don't really remember it.
Well, it was very brief. It didn't last long. Yeah. But
they
it
had
kind
a Spectral Blades Hunter fighting Savathun, even though that subclass super was terrible. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, they did. And it also showed a character that hasn't been seen in Destiny for a while that died a while ago back in Forsaken, and that was Cade 6. And from all accounts, that he is back. But what capacity is he back? So I thought we'd start with our sort of thoughts, speculation of what it could mean with what we saw in the teaser trailer. As we know, there is going to be a Destiny 2 showcase late August where we're going to get the full reveal of the final shape, and another article we come into in a bit of a future of Destiny. So I thought we'd start there. From what we saw in the trailer, we saw Cade 6 back talking with Ikora, and he didn't seem to know why he was back. From my personal point of view, from what we saw and what we could see, it kind of gave me the feeling we were inside the Traveler. Like that was the first look from inside the Traveler from anything that we've seen before. Let's see. Back from the dead. Come to you first. What do you think this means? Are we inside the Traveler? Is Cade 6 only alive in the Traveler? What's your thoughts on what we saw from the teaser from the PlayStation Showcase?
Yeah, quite honestly, I thought it was a bit early to show it off. I would have rather seen it shown off a few months later, since final shape won't be until early on next year, and it almost has me concerned over the fact that some of the issues that people have with Lightfall in the community, where it seems like they're trying to push it under the rug, it would have been better to get through more of the story content so we understand what they left out of Lightfall, and that, explain the Veil in this season. As far as the trailer goes, there's a lot of speculation out there from, is this actually inside of the Traveler? Could it possibly be like the original Garden, the Gardener and the Winnower were playing a game with each other? Is it a complete outside of space? Is it Destiny, a Guardian afterlife? There's a lot of theories rolling around. I mean, personally, the afterlife concept probably makes the most amount of sense to me. But then if that's the case, then that would mean Ikora got killed somehow. So, or is this kind of a multiverse thing where this is an alternate reality and it's an alternate Ikora and Cade? There's so many things you can pull out of it. But yeah, you can definitely tell that it's possible it is Arcade, because you don't see his ghost in that trailer. So he also, the color of his eyes is white. It's not the blue that you saw before. Mm-hmm. So it's possible it's him, since his ghost was killed back in Forsaken with a thorn bullet that was trying to remember. I'm trying to remember if it was supplied by either the Drifter or Varix.
Probably
So far back in the story, it's been a while since since that's even been in the game. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm not sure exactly where it's going from here. As far as showcase predictions, we'll get into that in a bit, but I don't know. I don't think that's it. Quite honestly, I don't think that's inside of the Traveler. I think that's a different place altogether. And the Witness used the Traveler's power combined with his as a gateway.
Yeah. It's kind of left it quite open to speculation what it could be, because it's like when you can see the that triangle in the air, which we saw from outside the Traveler that the Witness opened up. From the view we see, for me, I look at from how I thought of it is they're inside the Traveler. We've made it inside the Traveler, and it's like this big landscape that the Traveler's created, and he could create Cade 6 and bring him back inside the Traveler. Whether he can exist outside the Traveler or not, who knows? Because, your ghost is the thing that constantly brings you back after you die. Your ghost dies, you die, but maybe the ghost retains uploads knowledge or whatever, or memories or something to the Traveler that the Traveler could recreate inside the Traveler, hence how Cade 6 could come back after all this time. There's them sort of possibilities. I do think Shadow Malt has provided us with the trailer, so if you bear with me 1 sec, we'll have a quick watch of it. Shadow, if you want to play that for us, don't have the volume too loud so we don't all go deaf, and we'll have a quick look at that.
I don't even know where to begin. You've missed so much. We've slain gods, vanquished nightmares, fought alongside those who we once fought against. I wish you could have been there.
Yeah, me too, kiddo. But hey, I'm here now. Wherever the hell here is.
Yeah, because it's you look at the eyes, you look at his gun, it has that Taken element to it.
So it's more of a
so it could be could be a number of things.
Well, when you wind up Ace of Spades, his gun, when you wind it up, the exotic trait Memento Mori makes the gun glow like that.
Yeah. So seeing that he has his
it does. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So
because you see Ikora's ghost there, but you don't see his.
Yeah. I'm kind of in agreement on that this is inside the Traveler because of, as you said, with the triangle that we see, or if it is whatever the portal takes us to, which I'm assuming is where the Witness went, was inside the Traveler. That's where we are now with the triangle in the background. And this is just the landscape created by it or inside the Traveler. Who knows? Maybe the Traveler is some type of miniature planet and the outer shell we see is like a casing or something. If you think of Halo Infinite and the Forerunner planets. But I feel as though with Cade, with his gun and the light that we saw and the light coming from his eyes, that's just what's that word I'm looking for? Like that's his Cade, but made of pure light, essentially. And it's could be implying that's what happened to Guardians once they die their final death, is that they turn and they die and are brought back into the Traveler, since they came to life because of the Traveler's light, and now they're just personifications of their character, but made of pure light. So I know some people were speculating this is like a so kind of like Cora's imagination. Some people are saying maybe that's what is just created from her imagination of Cade, but since he's responding and they're kind of interacting with each other, maybe that's like an actual person that we'll meet throughout the campaign. I would assume so because it was suck to have him brought back, and then you just have Cora in the corner talking by herself, but to ghostly Cade. So I agree with it's Inside the Traveler, and just because I imagine that's where we would end up after what happened at the end of the latest DLCs. That the next is going inside the Traveler. So I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, it's almost like it's. I think that is where the final shape is going in the Traveller, where we're going to face off against the Witness and what other things that we find in there, which we'll get more information on the showcase, which obviously we'll come to a bit later on. But yeah, I'm sort of convinced we're inside the Traveller at that point, and the only reason Cade 6 exists is, as you say, could be pure light made. Everyone lives on within the Traveller, and we should find out more about that, because I do believe, was it actually Nathan Fillion did say he is back as Cade 6 with a significant role as well. Yeah, so when he says sort of like it's significant role, is that he's actually back and we're seeing him as a character and we're fighting alongside him, or we're helping him, or he's helping us, sort of thing? Or is it just like a sort of voice we're hearing as we're playing? I suppose there's quite a lot of different things you could dive into it. It's and that whole, it's sort of like a paradise type situation. If it is inside the Traveller, where there's this landscape and things like that, it makes you think, what is going on, what is happening, how is Cade 6 back? Because we know back again from after Forspoken, Bungie came out and said, we made the decision to kill off a main character to provoke that emotion and feeling and things of them passing, and Cade 6 was the one that went, which in a way I thought was a shame, because it would have been nice to see how things would have gone if he was still in the game. But I could also understand why they picked him, because out of all the Guardians like Zavala, Ikora, that were head of the different factions, Titan, Hunter, Warlock, he was the more likable. People liked what he did more, so I could sort of understood why they picked him, because he's the one that was probably going to get more of a reaction. But I honestly didn't think, before this teaser, that we was getting him back, which was quite a surprise, and a good surprise in a way. But also it makes me think, where's it going? What's going to happen? And does no one actually die, and they all just come back eventually? So it'll be interesting, as we get into showcase predictions, what we think about that and what's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see where we go from there. Shadow, what about yourself? What did you think of the teaser? What did you get from it? Do you feel like you're in from the inside point of view, or is it imagination, dream, something along those lines?
Here's what I think. I think we've already been there before. If we think back to the Curse of Osiris DLC on Mercury, that was the first time we actually met the Witness. Now, here's what I think. We've been there before. We're about to go back again, only to find out that there's actually more witnesses, and that the Traveller is in fact a prison for the Witness's kind. Now, the Witness is breaking in there because he wants to, I'm going to say, punish the others of his kind for giving us power of the light. And he wants to punish them for that because he's imbued with the power of the darkness. Now, obviously, we, the Guardians, have not only imbued the power of light, been given the power of light, but we're also essentially taking the power of darkness. And that's why he wants to stop us, is because we're becoming too powerful. So he wants to shut down all the other witnesses that are giving us the power of the light to stop us from becoming too powerful.
Yeah, I suppose you could look at it from that point of view.
So how I see it is the Traveler is in fact a prison ship for the Witness's kind.
But then, how do you explain, like, why would he come? Why would the Traveler come to, say, set Earth and give, so many individuals the powers and ghosts to, as we see with Hunters, Titans, and Warlocks to fight what would be the Dark?
Yeah, so they'd have given us that so that we can stop this Witness, the Witness, because he's got probably some ultimate plan of taking over the universe, which is why they gave us the light to stop him from doing what he's doing.
See, I've kind of got.
When it comes to like seeing Cade, we've seen that before. When we first met the Witness took our shape and our form and mimicked us. As a Guardian, he mimicked us. If you remember back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I think is, which is what I think is going on with Cade, is that there's another Witness kind mimicking Cade's form.
Say that is a interesting theory to go by. If the Witness really is just a race of people or beings, and is a situation of most people choosing one side, and this Witness is like the biggest bad evil versus the whole squad or something like that. So that's an interesting theory.
Because the reason why I'm saying that is because you've got the darkness, we've got the reason for the darkness, we know where it's coming from. But what's the biggest question that every Guardian, every person who's ever played Destiny is, where the hell's the light coming from? We know it's the Traveler, but what is the Traveler?
And why is there a connection, especially when our ghost
Why is the Traveler? And who is the Traveler? We've never had the light answered, but we've always had the answer for darkness. We know where the darkness is coming from.
I feel like the darkness is still kind of.
It's still a bit unknown.
Yeah, because
we know far more about the darkness than we do
the
about
actual
the
light. Yeah, especially again with towards the end of Lightfall or throughout Lightfall's campaign, and the Witness being able to take control of our ghosts. You have to ask him what's the connection between our ghosts and the Witness, to where it's able to speak through it and even control it up to some point. And so that's something to be asked there as well.
See, I this is just like kind of my thoughts on it, because if you remember from the sort of story cutscenes we got from Lightfall, the Traveler's been to many a planet, and it seems to all these planets that it's been to and gone through to get to where it is now, there just seems to be destruction, death on its wake. What if the Traveler actually isn't the good guy? What if the Witness is trying to stop the Traveler, because the Traveler's going from system to system to obviously create these Guardians to fight against what we see as the darkness, and there's the chance. What if it's actually the other way around? The Witness is trying to destroy the Traveler because the Traveler's not this old being saving planets and things like that. What if it's the opposite way? Because it seems to have gone from what we've seen, planet to planet to planet to galaxy to universe type situation, and now it's ended up with us. What if it is actually something itself that's contained within inside it that the Witness is trying to destroy?
Just a quick thought on the light. I was just thinking about it then. I've just realized now that the light was always given to us, but we've had to earn the darkness. We've had to earn its respect.
So
why would the light be given to us, but we have to earn the darkness? That seems to time with what you're saying, BMG.
So the Traveler being evil it would if they were to have that be the big reveal, I would need a proper explanation because at least throughout all the stories that we heard with the Traveler, especially going back to the Elixni and the whirlwind that they went through, like the issues they had to deal with, the Guardians based or the collapse with the Guardians when the darkness did attack, it's I you will have to make a really good compelling case on why the Traveler would be considered evil. Because even with the what was it, the Worm Gods and the Hive, and I believe if I'm recalling correctly, they were told about the Traveler above their system, and they were lied to tell them that the Traveler was some type of evil presence that was coming, so they should make a deal with the Worm Gods to save the race, which was a lie. So the Traveler being evil, they would really have to make a good case because we're the Guardians, and the Witness has basically their disciples and far fewer in numbers, but basically people going under them and using their power to fight for them or they're the disciples. So I I don't know. I don't if that is the case, like I said, you have to make a super. It would have to make sense because even in you hear about who is it? Not I think it was Ellie Bray, the Exo Stranger, and she's from a timeline where the Guardians use the darkness and they're corrupted by the darkness, and that's how you have the dark future. So the light being the evil guys with all that information there, I just don't really see it. You know, unless it's some type of thing like the Traveler was gaining power and building like a following for some ultimate ritual or something like that. I can understand that. Like Traveler needs 1,000 people under them to do some universe shattering thing. Then that's where it would make sense that the Witness is trying to keep the numbers in check to keep things from going out of control. But aside from that, I need some real convincing there.
Yeah. But let's say just the theory. Back from the Dead. What about you? What do you think? Is the Traveler all good, or do you think there is that chance that it's actually in our best interest to let the Witness do what it's doing?
I don't think either side, quite honestly. Both sides have their own agendas and what they're trying to accomplish. Because if you go back to the garden in the I think it's the darkness lore books, where they talk about the game that the Gardener and the Winnower, that we speculate the Gardener is Traveler and the Winnower is the Witness, that they keep playing this game where the Gardener would make things grow and the Winnower would kill it off at the end of the night. So also, if you pay attention to some of the story that's coming out of Osiris in dealing with him, that they are almost answering the question that the light and the dark don't really come from both of these entities. They're just the most powerful representations of it, where the light is about, regrowth and sacrifice, and the dark is tied to your emotions and can control physics basically by controlling gravitational waves and other abilities. Where, quite honestly, I think that the light and the dark exist in the universe outside of everything, that they're just constant, cosmic powers that are amoral. They're just existing in the universe. Like the speaker said all the way back in the base campaign of Destiny 2, the light lives in all things. You can trap it, you can try to block it, but the light will always find its way.
And that goes in line with who was it, Mara, where she was constantly speaking about through the last season, and she was speaking about how light and dark aren't inherently good and evil. This is how you use it, how we're the Guardians and we have darkness powers, but we're not using it for evil. So they are more on, like you said, a universal concept than like an actual good and evil force.
Yeah. It's one of them, isn't it? There's just so much speculation out there and different ways that they could go with the being acquired by Sony and PlayStation. Is there more things now they could look into, or different directions they can go, or make the story go on for longer. Because as far as we know, Final Shape is the end of the Light Dark saga, which again we'll get into again shortly. But yeah, it's just so interesting. It's like it was such a short teaser, but showed kind of opened it up to conversation and where they are, what we're actually seeing. Is Cage 6 actually real? Is he just a manifestation of inside the Traveler, or is he actually back but can only exist inside the Traveler? I suppose, like, showcase wise, we're not gonna know till then. So I think what we'll do is we'll jump to that. We'll jump to our showcase predictions. So what are we going to see at this showcase? We know it's for the Final Shape. We do know there's meant to be hints towards the future of Destiny. We've in that showcase. What would we like to see in this showcase? And if maybe a prediction each, maybe something like that, and we'll sort of figure that. Triple Combo Gaming, come to you first. What are you expecting we're going to see at the showcase, or what would you like us to see at the showcase?
Well, given the trailer, I'm expecting to see some type of new patrol zone, new play area to play at. Kind of expecting a new subclass to round out the 3 light and 3 dark subclasses. That's what I'm expecting. What it'll be. I know they joked around a kinetic subclass and one of the twids, but they're like, nah, that's not gonna happen. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna play out. Yeah, just naturally any type of improvements to the gameplay, any mod changes as they're continuing to expand on the mod system. So maybe we'll understand there. I know they're speaking about, I forget what season they're supposed to be doing with the raid matchmaking or whatever that they're introducing.
23?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe, well, are we on 22 right now? I think season 22.
Yeah, we're in 22.
We might get some input, but if it's all about the Final Shape, then whatever new things are being introduced. So it's this broad of subclass story elements, new weapons, something like that. Seeing some of the things they're playing with this season, with us diving into Titan. I wonder if we're gonna get some type of. I know with Beyond Light, they had the what was it, Europa, and the weather system there, and now we have like some other underwater traversal. So maybe we'll get something interesting when it comes to the climate or anything like that. But yeah, just to sum it up, just the general weapons, hopefully a new subclass, because it would be so weird to Final Shape and no subclasses is Strand and Stasis for our darkest subclass. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Do you think? I'd say I don't like the underwater stuff. I don't think it works well. I don't think Bungie have kind of mastered that very well.
Yeah.
I had issues when first jumping to the bottom where you got to unlock the doors to keep dropping down, and I dropped to the very bottom. And even though I'm underwater, I couldn't jump onto that platform. I had to let myself suffocate and redo it again and drop on the platform. I was getting very frustrated with that. I really wound me up because I was just jumping. I'm like screaming at the dog, and the dog's just looking at me saying, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see, because right now it's purely traversal and no type of gameplay systems like actual combat involved. It's just us sinking to the bottom, collect air bubble, hit switch, and that's it. But I see it as them testing the waters. I know it's methane ocean, so but testing just to see how things work. So maybe we'll see something evolve with the final DLC. But because how can I put it, it's different, but again, it feels like it's a test phase because not much really changes since you're just walking. So they have to be trying out something.
Yeah, maybe seeing how it works and how it works with players. But no, they definitely need to figure out that underwater stuff. I just don't think it works very well. And the fact that, in normal circumstances, you can do your jump and double jump or booster jump or glide jump. Yeah, you can't do it underwater. You can, in fact, you feel that much heavier underwater. You can't really jump that high at all. It's like
you feel like a Titan.
Yeah. But no, Titans are good. Titans can jump really good. You leave Titans alone.
Catapults. Back in the day, the hunters were the worst jumping. Titans and
to be fair though, Titans do feel rather heavy.
Yeah.
Have you seen the armor they wear? Have you seen the size of them?
Well, I mean, before the changes to their melee, Titan skating was definitely a thing. So flying at Mach 10. So
Oh, I am enjoying playing Titan at the moment. It's I just love the Superman punch. It just every time finisher, I just run up to people, do the Superman punch. It's just everything
oh,
about it. I just love.
I do want to have one shout out for my Titan players out there. Maybe we will get another one and done super because it's just Bubble and Thunder Crash. And maybe we'll get that revealed at the showcase, another one and done for Titans because I've seen the community complaining about that.
Yeah, they need some. They need some. I've never used the big bubble shield yet. I'd rather. To be honest, Thunder Crash is kind of the one I've gone with. I just like flying through the air for so long and then just drop down right in the middle of everyone. Drop my finisher and then just start punching the hell out of everyone with arc and well, everything's changed. It's definitely a favorite of mine. Definitely a favorite. But yeah, I think myself. We're going to get the story because we'll be in August we'll be into the mid next season we'll be into, so we'll be partway into season 23. They did sort of say
actually
the
no
season
there's
are we still
64 days
22?
there's 64 days
okay.
left in this season, so you count out 2 months, that because it's the 18th, you count out 2 months away to the 22nd. That's probably the date that the new season's going to start. So if they drop it that morning, they could launch right into the explanation of the next season. And as well, they're showing final shape, what goes on there, and their philosophy moving forward. Possibly whatever they're going to do for possibly updating the Tiger engine. Seeing some of the backlash for Marathon getting dedicated servers and how Destiny seems to be left behind, especially for the PvP community. So, yeah, it definitely looks like the way they planned that out, the new season's going to start the same day the showcases.
See, I thought with the season started a week before. I went 100% on me dates there, but makes sense though, I suppose. Drop once the showcase has been on, but we do know seasons going forward are going to sort of lead into final shape, so everything's going to connect, which is good. But I've just got this feeling that this is the final. This is the final expansion for Destiny 2, and where it could go from here.
Because I think they said we're going to get a preview of Final Shape and then the year of Final Shape. So that's the part that really confuses me because the story seasonal content hasn't really been, how can I put it? It's kind of lackluster in terms of the events that happen. And since it's spaced out within, over a year's time, each story piece never really had much weight for it. Even with the seasons before Lightfall, a lot of the end results, like with Callus, was kind of lackluster. So if Final Shape is going to be the final DLC, and I guess all the seasons lead into Destiny 3 is probably what they're going to do, and have the story connect that way. But they said it's going to be the end of the Light and Dark saga with this one. So
because I'm sure it was last year. I'm sure it was like late last year. Obviously we knew there was. It might be early last year when they sort of said there's the Witch Queen, which we got. There's Lightfall, Final Shape, and they had content for another expansion. I'm sure there was they mentioned or teased that they had enough content to do another. But that doesn't seem to be the plan now. Obviously, a lot of things have changed since they sort of did that because they were independent then, and things have changed from there. So I'm wondering if we're going to get the Final Shape, which is going to end the Light and Dark saga, and it's like, well, where do we go from there? And I do think, what sort of said, there's going to be like a year's worth of content through seasonal stuff, which is going to kind of wrap everything up, finish everything. Yeah, I know we're sort of going to talk about what we think is going to be, if there's going to be a Destiny 3 and where things go from there. But we'll come to that. We'll come to that next. Chado, what about yourself? Sort of your predictions for this showcase. What are you expecting to see? Do we get a tease of the future of Destiny after the final shape, or what do you think we're at?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think we're going to get another teaser for Final Shape. I don't see why. I mean, I think they'd be stupid not to do that. Otherwise, I don't really know what to expect because Bungie have always been very mysterious about what they do. They don't really give a lot away until we get data miners go through the game and files and find stuff. That's usually what tends to happen. Then Bungie at that point are then forced to release stuff. So, I mean, I don't really know what to expect.
So this will be the event is going to be around Final Shape, like it's the Final Shape showcase, and the future Destiny is what we'll be getting. So they will be talking about it. I guess it's going to be more so on if they'll mention what's after Final Shape more so.
Yeah.
As well as they could, because the way they've done it so far is you get a raid in the big expansion at the beginning of the year, and now we're in the second smaller season, and then usually in the third one could see the return of Wrath of the Machine.
That's who,
yeah, good, yeah, that'd be quite good. That. So, what about you, Back from the Dead? What are you expecting to? Prediction-wise, what are you expecting to see at the showcase? What would you like to see, and where do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, kind of retouch what I already said. Yeah, them definitely showing off the season. They'll be coming out the same day. If that's how it's going to line up, what we'll be doing then, possibly where they're taking Destiny after Final Shape, and like I said, new raid dropping. Always excited for that. I didn't get a chance to run any of the raids in Destiny 1. I've gone back and played Vault of Glass in Destiny 1 and then played all of them in Destiny 2. So it'd be cool, great time going into Kingsfall with friends, clearing that in the first 48 hours after a drop. And now this would be great. Another one that, because I play most of Destiny 1 solo, getting into Wrath of the Machine. So excited for that. And then it would be really cool if they're projecting beyond Final Shape, how is the game going to evolve after that? If they could show that off, that they would put out Destiny 1 and 2, they would just combine them and bring back all the story and make it one cohesive experience that you could play the game entirely through. That nothing's left out, nothing's going to get taken away again. You can still have your rebalancing of the weapons, but you finally get a story that people can play from start to finish throughout all the years.
But I suppose it depends what sort of licenses and agreements are in place with Activision, because obviously Activision sort of have the rights or some of the licensing to Destiny with the original game.
To my understanding, they bought everything out from them when they left.
Did they?
No,
see, I wasn't.
Yeah.
They just bought the Destiny 2 IP.
Right, because it just makes sense, really. If you're going to carry on Destiny after the Light and Dark saga, and you're going to go into what would be Destiny 3, drop the 3, drop the 2, drop the 1, and just be Destiny. Which
Destiny
sort of leads us
all combined.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which sort of leads us into sort of the other question that I've got here is, what do we want from the Destiny 3 now that the Light and Dark saga will come to an end? Where does the story go from here? Or is this the end of Destiny, future content, and we just move on to Bungie's new game, Marathon? So yeah, Back from Dead, I'll start with you. Are we going to see a Destiny 3? What would you like to see? And can the story go after the Light and Dark saga, after everything's built up to it? Where do you think the future of Destiny is if there is a future?
I honestly hope there is, because they've talked about possibly taking the story and putting it into books and movies, TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of ways they could go about it. We've seen Star Wars and Marvel have kind of done that. It expanded their universe by having TV shows with more focused looks on certain characters, and then movies that expand on other characters leading up to larger moments where all the heroes come together to face one major villain. So, I mean, I definitely see that as a possibility for Destiny to take that route, because there's a lot of lore that's not in the game at this point that you can only go onto a third-party website to go look up the old Grimoire. They took it out of the game in Destiny 1, so you can't even go back and look at it. I think that would be great. And, like I said, if you just drop the Destiny 2, if you combine both games, I really hope they would just embrace the concept of fully going more of an MMO style, where it's still going to have the same style of gameplay and constant updates, expansions, but follow more like the pattern of, say, ESO, where you get your yearly expansions and you have your events throughout the year and content throughout the year that way. But the game's entirely in one spot. You're not piecemealing it out, and you're not separated between two games or getting rid of major story content.
Yeah. What sort of, if you could, right? So you've done Light and Dark Saga's finished. We're done with the final shape. You're now doing the future of Destiny, and let's just say there is going to be a Destiny 3. If you were to write the story of Destiny 3 after the final shape, what direction would you go in? What sort of story would you tell if you was doing Destiny 3? It could be anything you want. You can make anything you want. You can have them all, just line dancing for 20 seasons if you want. New move added every month, but whatever you want. If you were to do the next Destiny after the final shape, let's just say the final shape, we defeat the Witness, which we assume is going to happen. All's well in the universe. The Traveler's gone, but Guardians and the Light still exist. What would you do? Where would you go?
So, assuming the Traveler's actually dead, we don't 100% know that for sure, because we're still confused about how we still have our Light. The Witness is assuming gonna fail, and then it's a question of in the year of the final shape, or possibly the expansion, will we kill off Ziva Roth? Is she going to be the next major player on the board after the fact? And then, honestly, I'd like to, like I said, if they went to one cohesive game, we could also see beyond the final shape, we could start expanding outside of our solar system, which is kind of funny, start going more towards like a building, exploring the galaxy into other places, and you can meet other people and other alien races in the universe and keep expanding out. And that could lead into, like, maybe there's wars on other planets, or you have to help them, almost kind of like Star Trek. You go out exploring and the universe keeps expanding the more that develops over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, good. Shadowmore, what about yourself? So what do you think you're going to see from the show? And if you could write Destiny 3, whether you're dropping the 3 and it's just been Destiny, final shape, everything's finished, all's good in the world, what direction would you go with a new Destiny? Would you end Destiny or would you carry it on? Would you take the story? Would you go to a different part of the universe and we're all using different guardians or a different perspective?
So what I would do if I was to write let's say Destiny 3, I would probably expand more on the darkness. Obviously going to other planets outside the current system we're in. More figuring out what exactly the darkness is, and how maybe discovering more of the darkness powers from other places, discovering new enemies to the that come from the darkness. Yeah, it would be nice if we could actually do some stuff with with our ships as well. So I do something to do with that. Being able to like jump out of the systems and yeah.
Well, have a bit of space combat in there, maybe some like space instances, maybe something like that.
Yeah. Because it does seem a bit pointless having the ships just as a load, like a cosmetic for a loading screen. It does seem a bit pointless, especially now with the fact that consoles have become so much more powerful and so much faster. The loading screens are pretty much just becoming pointless. So they would have to remove the ships entirely, or do something completely new, because we've got some games have got the loading screens down to half a second to a second. So if the new Destiny can bring do that, then it'd be pointless having this cosmetic ship stuff going on with a loading screen. So they would need to do something with that. And yeah, like I say, they figuring out like the darkness, because we've had so many years of the light now. We kind of pretty much know what it is. We know that we can get it just by sacrificing ourselves and whatnot. Whereas the darkness, we don't really need to sacrifice anything. We can just earn it, which would make So if we was to say, if the witness was to say win, and we lose the traveler, we'd lose the light. At which point we would still have the darkness. So
yeah, it's sort of hard.
I personally think that we would need to go down the line of darkness and kind of leave the light behind.
Yeah, that's a good way of going. Yeah, not bad. Triple combo, KB. What about you? If what sort of things do you think we're going to get there? And again, if you could write Destiny 3, let's just say it's going to be Destiny 3, where would you go with the story? Again, let's just say all ends well, bees well, we destroy the witness, the traveler's still there, we've got the light, or the traveler's gone, and we're sort of left with no power of the light. What would you do for Destiny 3? What would you like to see happen? Could be anything you want. Again, anything you want. Go as crazy as you want, Let Master Chief join if you want, to come and help fight the forces, Anything you want.
So given the title Final Shape, a part of me feels like the story will go to some type of merge of the Traveler and the Witness. So maybe to see how that plays out, because they've confirmed that Destiny, or the final shape, is simply the end of the Light and Dark saga, and the Destiny as a universe will continue. So I guess when it comes to naming, it probably won't be called Destiny 3. It could just be Destiny as a universe, depending on how they have Destiny as a platform going forward. So, I mean, for my
Which I hope.
initial story, yeah, for my initial story would definitely be to go outside of the solar system and just to see what other races are out there. But with the way the game's been set up around the Light and Dark saga, it I just have to wonder what other type of like what other type of power could be in this universe, especially I mean like with the for example darkness. I don't think we've, unless I just missed the lore, darkness is so much like you have to take in energy at some point, and I need to reconfirm it. That's a part of the darkness itself as well. But then you also have like the hive gods, and whether or not are they a byproduct of the witness or something like that. So what's their origins is what I'm trying to. I need to research, see if that's already been answered. But also the Vex, because the Vex are time traveling, other creating their own dimension type of thing, pocket dimensions, or the Vex are all over the place with what they can do. And so maybe we'll get a bigger understanding of who they are and how they came to be. And it's so many questions when it comes to it. So I know I'm all over the place because there's so many different directions on which they can go. But like I said, at least for myself, from a story perspective, definitely see what's happening outside of Soul. Um, Maybe Master Chief does pop up. We just find out that he's on the other side of the universe fighting the Prometheans or something like that, and we get a race of the flood happening in Destiny. So I don't know if I want if I want to be that terrible person. A part of me almost would say just going by Bungie's track record. I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with this, but if we had like a Destiny experience, it was like I would say akin to, because keep it multiplayer like Borderlands, but if it was to be another game, have it like a really well told story, because that's one of the issues I've always had with Destiny as a franchise. I'm mainly here for the gameplay, but the story has, I'll put it in this perspective, all the way up until Witch Queen is when I say the story has been hit or miss. So in our next outing, I hope we have like a really good a good starting point when it comes to the narrative. So I'd be that terrible guy. It's like if it was, contain not an MMO style, but just like if we had co-op, it would be 4 players max, and really try to get the story out there. But that's not where Bungie's trying to go. They're trying to build a universe, the platform. So yeah, I just hope we just have a proper story being told in the next outing, and as well as that they have their system, their engine put together properly, so it's not going offline every every weekend or every Tuesday cycle rolls around. Destiny's down for extended maintenance, so they really need to do something. But it's just picking apart at all the ideas they have, such as the dynamic weather system back in Beyond Light, and seeing how they didn't go anywhere. Hopefully, a new engine update will add more depth into the world, because one of the issues I personally have when it comes to this is like the patrol zones could have so much more life put into them. So I'm hoping that's something we get with the next Destiny games, to really just have the world feel more alive and not just tied to our strike missions or whatever the seasonal content may be. I Admittedly, I don't have too much experience when it comes to other MMOs, so maybe this is just a norm for an MMO type of game. But I would definitely love to just every place I go in Destiny, like there's a story to be found, and it's not just seasonal content and back-to-back raids and stuff like that. So, this what other powers are out there? Because if it's the end of the light and dark, I'm just like, so where do we go from now? Is it fire and ice? But that's always some type of darkness and light energy. So what's multidimensional? Maybe universe or something. I don't know. This is so many questions.
I think we're gonna be like, we'll almost take over for the Traveler and the Witness, and we'll be our own constant power in the universe that will be the source of light and dark. That we won't need to be connected to either one anymore. That'll just be inside of us, and we'll be able to control it ourselves. As well as, if you're interested in diving into the lore of the story, trying to go in more depth, check out My Name is Wife and Mylan Games. Cover it just fantastically, whether it's some speculation that they have, but they do a lot of great research and a fantastic job connecting the lore tabs from all the guns in the game that relate to each other and all the armor pieces and exotic ghosts and exotic ships.
Mm-hmm.
All those different pieces in the game all have their own story tied to them. So yeah, check out. Yeah, again, my name is Blythe from Mylan Games. If you're interested in getting into that.
Yeah, I did. It's been so long, but I think Byleth did like a Destiny up to Witch Queen type of content, or even Lightfall. But it's been so long that there's so much lore to keep track of, so I had to just rewatch everything and spend like a weekend watching like an hour-long video or something like that. So maybe we get some wild go back in time section so we can experience the world before the collapse and how it was, or maybe shortly after the collapse with the warlords and things like that. That'd be kind of interesting as well. So, but
it could expand in the TV shows and the movies and books.
Yeah,
but I think that's what me and you I just talked about a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, BMG, about the TV shows going back and like going into the story of like the lords and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One thing I have to ask you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Aphrodite the one of the remaining Iron Lords? Isn't she just like somewhere out of the solar system doing something? Like
she's basically a pacifist at this point, and she wants nothing to do with the war between light and dark or fighting at all. She's basically helping the village that she's hiding out in survive. She doesn't want any part of what the city's dealing with.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder what's outside the solar system, because I think when the Drifter as a character, I think he had a story plot for this week content where he said he was on an ice planet outside of the solar system. So again, this makes me wonder what is out there in the universe, in the Destiny universe specifically. And Aphrodite's out doing her own thing. Drifter had a history outside of the solar system, so really curious as to what we can find beyond that.
Yeah, the Drifter's been to where you were talking about the ice planet. There's supposedly beings that if you get too close to them, they can strip the light right out of you and your ghost, and you're just gone like that.
Yeah. I suppose there is a lot more to explore from, what we've got in sort of our galaxy and where we're at and the stuff we're seeing. The Traveler's been to many more places, many more worlds, and I don't think Destiny 2 is the final shape's the end, and that's it. 'Cause I'm, looking at the chat and stuff, people, there's a couple debating back and forth whether Destiny 2 finishes and they just go straight in on Marathon. For people that didn't know, Marathon is actually an original Bungie IP that they did back in the 80s, 90s. I can't remember if it's 80s or 90s. So it's just a revival IP. It's not a brand new IP. Not many people know much past what Bungie have done before Halo, but they have done other games. And this is going to coincide with Destiny, because even though they're not the biggest team, they've got the backing of Sony now. So you're going to see a lot more happening and a lot more going on, especially having the resources behind them as well. So don't worry about canceling Destiny just for Marathon. That's not going to happen.
They would not do that. What I'm curious about, if with the next Destiny, since they have Marathon going, would they drop PvP and just have Destiny focus purely as a PvE experience? Because then they have their dedicated PvP experience with the Marathon at that point. And I know there's fans in the community that are huge into the Crucible and the idea of, you earn your raid weapon, you bring it into the Crucible. But if you've been with the franchise long enough, you know how things have gone way back to Destiny 1 and the Vex Mytho class, and how that thing, it was basically a light machine gun in primary form. So Bungie has had the history of not perfectly blending PvE and PvP experience to bring your loot over. So I wonder if with Destiny and Marathon, would they just say, hey, we're just going to separate them and just really be able to balance around our PvE experience. And if you want a PvP experience, you go to Marathon.
Yeah, Marathon was released in 94, and the second one in 95, and the third in 96. all for Apple Macintosh computers.
Very old game back in the day. But yeah, a lot. I've seen a lot of people think it's this brand new IP, so it's sort of coming across as this brand new IP, but it's like no, Marathon's quite an old IP, which Bungie done a long time ago. They just somehow convinced Sony, or if they were working on it beforehand, to bring it back. But all the success to them. But I am more for the for the Destiny side of stuff. PvP, I'm not a fan of. I will jump into PvP to do my weeklies. I don't mind Gambit. Gambit's that PvE VP, and that can be a bit of fun. But PvP, yeah, PvE VP. I can handle that. I'm not so bad with that. But
it's
PvE,
just sitting in the corner by itself, just doing its own thing.
Yeah, if you like Gambit, there's a new game that's coming out next month. The beta is up for, I think, today and tomorrow, or it might end today. That's called Exoprimal. That'll be in Game Pass day one on July 14th. They're only showing, they're only showing one of the modes. There are supposed to be PvE only modes. But the mode in the beta has you doing mostly PvE, and then at the end, to close out the match, you'll get into a shootout with the other team of 5 players on each team.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I was checking that out with Mike Mullis from Urchill Next Level Gaming the last couple of days.
Yeah. I don't know if I tried to get into which beta did I try and get into, and I didn't get in. No, I don't think it was Exoprimal. I can't remember which one I was looking at. It was somewhere from the showcase, the Summer Games Fest, and I didn't get into it. But the Exoprimal, yeah. If it wasn't Game Pass, would I buy it? No. But the fact that it's Game Pass, I'll try it out, which is quite a good advantage to having that included. But yeah, there's just too many games to play, and that Exoprimal, when it first showed it off, looked quite cool. The hundreds of dinosaurs just dropping in, and you're mowing them down. But from the gameplay we actually saw at Summer Games Fest, that put me off the game. I think that put me off from what I originally saw, and I was like, I don't think this is a game I'm going to want to play. But the fact it's not going to cost me anything to try it on Game Pass, I'll give it a try. But yeah, I would sooner see if Bungie announced PvP, they were dropping it from the main Destiny game, and it's going to be a whole separate thing or something included, modified, refined in Marathon. I'd be all for that. Bye PvP, because anytime I play it, I might as well just stand there and just let him shoot me, because running around it's just the same thing. I just get shot to shit, and it just seems absolutely pointless.
Because people have said that Marathon is supposed to be PvP only.
It is.
Which is confusing.
PvP
it's kind of confusing because the original Marathon had a PvE mode that actually had a lot of lore tied into it. And from listening to My Name Is Wife, he said that the lore in Marathon is way deeper than Destiny, way more expansive. A lot of people still play it today and are very involved in trying to figure out the lore in it.
Oh, right. I didn't know that. God, I thought that game died many years ago, back when I was... what would I have been? What was it, 92, the original launched?
94.
94. So I would have been 8
would
years old. 8.
Yeah. I've only been 6. And
94, I was 0.
94, I wasn't even born then.
But yeah, that was probably one of... I'm not sure if that's their first video game, because Bungie's 30 years old, so that would have been at least one of their first.
Yeah, I do feel I do feel maybe Marathon really is Bungie's like, okay, we need an answer to the PvP crowd, because they've tried so much to get the Crucible and the PvP crowd, like to please them. Like Trials of Osiris, was it they recently redid? I was at I'm blanking out so hard, but the competitive mode and this the history of trying to get the Crucible, even with Iron Banner eventually changing to where light level no longer matters. They just never been able to land it properly. So I do feel like Marathon is like, okay, we definitely will have to just make a dedicated PvP experience. And I could be wrong. Maybe with the next Destiny, they do remove PvP, or what a lot of people have been asking for is like just have a separate loadout system so that way you don't have to worry about carrying your gear over. But I could definitely see people being upset not being able to use Vex Mytho Class 2.0 or 3.0 at this rate into the Crucible. So I don't know. And I think Marathon, they said, is like a PvP extraction shooter. So I think it's a pure PvP experience. So like I said, you basically just separate them into different games, your Destiny, PvE, Marathon, your PvP, and there you go.
Yeah. I hope so, because that's, to me, that's the worst bit about Destiny is the PvP. We haven't got Mazarus on tonight because he's got some family stuff going on, but he's all PvP. That's his main thing with Destiny. PvP, dungeons and raids. That's kind of his area, and he'd defend it to the heavens. It's but no, I just don't find, I don't enjoy it. I really don't enjoy PvP. It just seems like if you're not skilled at it or know exactly the layouts and things, you come into it, you're just literally going to get shot and killed the moment you respawn. I just think it's awful. I don't think it works well. And many of the community complain about the PvP. I know there's people that like it and like the way it is, but they could drop solid. It for me.
Yeah, it's a solid experience. Yeah, towards the end of Destiny 2, or not Destiny 2, Destiny 1, where I was like, man, I've been playing this PvE so much. Let me just put time into Crucible. Like, it's fun. There's fun to be had, but again, it's just the balancing issues that Destiny or Bungie has had. And when Stasis was first introduced, I didn't play Crucible for like the whole season, just hearing the horror stories of people experiencing just constantly being frozen. And then, yeah, so even Strand, I think Strand, they did a better job, but it was just always something with the Crucible that just got busted at some point, and trying to balance the PvP to PvE, and then the PvE focused players dealing with like balance changes that affects PvE, such as the cooldown. Bungie says the cooldown system they created was purely for more towards just the game overall, but I can't help but feel like some of the cooldown changes we did experience or ability nerfs were tied to PvP, as well as like this exotic weapons and armor. So I'm just repeating myself here, but I do think separating them could probably give us it'll be the best of both worlds, essentially, because now you can purely scope around it, and they just kind of sort of course, they're going to keep balance in mind, but go a little bit more crazy with some of the exotics they could introduce or abilities they could introduce, like referencing Borderlands 3. If anyone's familiar with that, how crazy you can get with some of the abilities and the weapons they get behind, like creative, not having to worry about the balancing part, then separating them would definitely be something I would like to see in the next Destiny experience, whatever that's going to be called. So
the other thing that it would do as well is it would clean up some of the disk space so that we can actually have more content in the PvE side of it. Yep, so we'll have to have all those extra maps and stuff in the game. So it would free up the disk space and allow us to have a bit more content within the PvE side of it.
Or I think they're missing out on a big opportunity. Scrap PvP as it is. Do away with it. Keep Gambit. Gambit's all right. Gambit's okay. Gambit can be its own thing. Make it into a battle royale game.
Oh no!
PvP is battle royale. Oh, no. Imagine that. Imagine that. Go on as your own class of Guardians.
Just like have everybody spawn in as a empty Guardian, and you pick up the Warlock or something like that. Oh no!
You're gonna pick up abilities on my left
knot. I hate battle royales.
I'd play it if it was a Destiny battle royale. I think I would play it just to. You keep your abilities. You go in as your class, so you've got your character with your Warlock, Hunter, Titan. You go in like that. Area, say you're in a Vex world.
Right there. Imagine like you spawn in as, I know hunters are the most used in the Crucible, but in that environment is like, dang man, I wish I could put up a bubble shield right now. But I'm a hunter, so I can't, or I needed a healing well, but I can't. But and then your supers would no doubt be something super cherished. So the balancing between that alone in the battle royale environment, that's gonna get messy. That's gonna get real messy.
It would be fun though, and it would upset the PvP community. So I'm all for it.
Doing it as, like,
I mean, some of them might actually like it. For some of those guys that play Fortnite or Apex or Warzone. So I mean, you never know. I guarantee you one thing: unless I really like you or want to hang out with you, you'll never see me in that mode. If they put a battle royale in Destiny,
I'm with you.
You gotta have some really insane loot beyond even, I'll jump into Iron Banner because, being part of Iron Lord's podcast clan, it's like, okay, it was kind of pretty much Lord Cognito said it's like, you have to at least have the seal to be in this clan.
Oh, the Iron Lord seal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've got that. Have I got that? That's the tree, isn't it? The
seal that you get, that's just your title, the Iron Lord title. Yeah.
I think I've got that.
Yeah,
sure
it's coming back this week, and I'm debating to hop in so I could try to get the emblem, but I'm just like, I just don't have a compelling reason to do Crucible these days, so I just have bothered with it.
Yeah, I've got to think a bit more on this Destiny Battle Royale. See if I can give it a bit more. I'll have a think about it, and then maybe next show I'll come up with something. But I think it could be really good. Imagine though, if you could do teams of 3, teams of 4, or solo. But if you win, say, so many games, or you win a game, you can win some loot that you can bring into the main game of Destiny.
You would have to lock the guns to static rolls, though.
Yeah,
if you're going there. You're not going to have your own gun. It's or like a wacky mode. It's like your own gun. Random gun drops from your vault on the field, and it's purple, blue,
green exotic with some crazy exotic weapon. I don't know, because they learned their lesson with Redrick's Claymore and Luna's house, so I just can't imagine people are like, I can never win a battle royale and the best weapons tied to winning it or something like that. And it was just, they learned their lesson. I would say that much.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll try and come up with something. I'll have a chat with that chat GBT, see if they can give me a bit of clarity on how it could look. Well, what we'll do is, before 20 questions, I'll just do this one article that's from I can't remember the name of it now. The Game Post about the Tiger engine, because we did briefly mention that. Shadow Mall, I think you've got something from this week at this week. Is Destiny? It not this week at Destiny? Is it this week in Destiny?
It's this week in Destiny. Yeah.
The Twid. The Twid. Not the Twab anymore. It's the Twid.
No, it's the Twid now. No, so I figured out that the Twid is something completely separate to the patch notes, because they don't contain the patch notes in it anymore. So they're something completely separate now. So
is that because they've knackered it up that much and having to put it under maintenance for so long they haven't got enough pages to write a list of changes?
I mean, to be honest with you, this week's patch notes is actually very short. I mean, there's very little in it. It's just mainly just a couple of fixes, and there's not really much in it.
We'll come to that in a minute. We'll just do this one article, do that, and then we'll play good old 20 questions. So I've not done it for a bit, so it'll be fun to jump into that. Right, Bungie's Tiger engine seemingly set to receive major upgrades for Destiny, Marathon, and future games. These new upgrades will allow the game engine to be shared between multiple projects. Bungie has been creating games for over 3 decades now and is known for some of the classic shooters like Marathon, Halo, and of course Destiny. The developer used its in-house proprietary game engine called bomb engine to develop older Halo titles. The engine was later upgraded and renamed to the Tiger engine to support the development of Destiny, a sci-fi looter shooter that we all know and love. It looks like Bungie's Tiger engine is gearing up to receive some significant upgrades now that the developers announced its next big non-Destiny project, Marathon, a PvP sci-fi first-person extraction shooter. This is according to two major new job listings posted on the company's careers website: associate and senior tools engineer for Tiger Engine sharing. The developer plans to expand the engine's capabilities to share code and assets between different game projects, Destiny, Marathon, and possibly another unannounced title. So they're looking for to take more people on with the experience in this sort of thing. I don't fully know exactly what they can or can't do with the engine that's actually going to, it's going to make it easier to share things between projects, but are we going to see from the player end like an increase in stability, graphical frame rates or anything like that? Or is it a matter of fact it's just all of a back end thing? Triple Cobwell, what do you think? Is this just something that's not really anything for us? Is it just mainly to? Are we going to see any benefit from this? Future Destiny benefits?
In the next game, I would probably say yeah. Especially if in the next game they're cutting out the older generation of consoles, so then you can further build around the engine or build it the way you need to. And hearing that they're trying to make it work or share things among Marathon and Destiny, then yeah, I feel like it'll be definitely more of a back end thing. And by that I mean the game doesn't crash every Tuesday. But I don't see any type of overhaul in this iteration of Destiny, since it's basically just being built on top of each time. So if we see any major changes, it'll have to definitely be in a full-fledged new start. So yeah.
Back from the dead. What about yourself? Do you think? Are you expecting to see any major changes, or are we going to get into the game quicker and sooner rather than delayed maintenance on a weekly basis?
I mean, it definitely could. It depends what they're changing, because they got a lot of flack for when people found out that Marathon was getting dedicated servers, anti-cheat, all this stuff off the rip, where Destiny 2 is still peer-to-peer, how you link up between people. So yeah, if they can implement it, it depends how they change it. And also coming out of your engines, I've seen some videos from Unreal, how their stuff works, or watching, if you're interested in like kind of the making of video games and the back, what goes on in the background, you can watch Microsoft Game Stacks. They'll show off some of the stuff, how their tools are upgraded, how you can build games in the cloud now. So depending on what they're changing in all of this, in the engine, it's also, that's where your assets are tied and your lighting is set up when they're developing a game. So a lot of the in-game visuals, they could tweak that way. It just depends. I mean, I'm not a dev, but if I could talk to one, that'd be fantastic. To say, could you actually, it's just kind of a Unreal 4 to Unreal 5 situation where this is the next iteration of the Tiger engine, and you can just either it just goes seamlessly over, or is there some level of development where it could take you a few months, a year? If you're doing it now, you have the time. Maybe there's a team that's transferring it over or building a way to transfer it from the time they work on it from final shape to whatever comes next in the following year.
Yeah, makes sense. Channibal, what about yourself? Do you think we're going to, what sort of improvements and things you're going to think we're going to see from this upgraded Tiger engine? And are we going to see less maintenance and more stability when get this game back online quicker, sooner rather than later, because there's amount of delays and extended maintenance downtime. Are we going to see improvements on that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, if with the new engine, I would hope that it would, decrease the maintenance time. It would decrease like the actual loading of the game, like from boot up to actually jumping in, actually in the game, and even going from like a main menu to actually playing in game, be shorter. Going from mission to mission, be a shorter loading time. I would hope to see like as said, like improvements to the multiplayer, where like the connection in the multiplayer, so that it's we're not all, because there's also a security concern, connecting to each other rather than through a server. Because people can pull your IP address and then DDoS you, basically kick you out of the game by doing that. It's happened to me a few times when playing Destiny, even playing other games. It's happened to me, and then I've got all the fanny arsing about shutting down my internet and doing whatever else with it, So it would be better for them to stop the peer to peer. Yeah, I mean, even with the new engine, it would allow them to have a bigger file, like disk size, because they're limited to 120 gig in it on the current engine.
Mm-hmm.
So by being on the new engine, it would improve, like it would allow them to make the game bigger and not have to sunset stuff, stick stuff in a vault. Yeah, I mean, and then if say we can't get a new Destiny game or any other Bungie game we get in the future, would also have better graphic fidelity as well. So there's a whole lot they could do with it. Even things like better physics as well in the game. So I mean, there's a lot they could do. There's a lot that can happen just with a simple tweak to an engine.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Finber asks us, would you guys, I think he's meant to say like, not lie, would you guys like Destiny Mobile?
No, definitely not.
Unless it was like no, I'm just saying, I'm not even gonna play with the idea. But you put all your resources towards Destiny and now Marathon.
I mean, if it was like an official like Destiny companion app,
something
fair
like
enough.
that, yeah. But like a standalone game.
But if you're talking like a Destiny Battle Royale on mobile, yeah, you can just kindly leave the chat with that one.
Like I said, Bungie's kind of dealing with Destiny already. They don't need another standalone project. Although, didn't they get an investment from like NetEase or someone a while back to make a mobile game or something like that?
They did, and nothing, as far as we know, has come of it as of yet.
Now, was Matter that project, or is Matter Marathon just code name or something?
No,
Matter's something separated, completely different.
Yeah, Matter's still in. It's still working, isn't it? It's still in the works. That's
Maybe
like the third game.
I think Matter is Marathon.
What's the other game? What was the name of the other one? Because they've got a third game.
They didn't give a name to it.
Oh, but right. We just know there's a third game.
Yeah, there was speculation and rumors going around that other game is a mobile game. We're just Marathon's the only one they've actually pointedly called out and talked about so far. But it depends where they could go, possibly with a mobile game. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be set in the Destiny universe as far as the rumors go. So I don't know as far as how that would play in. I mean, maybe it's an easier thing to do would be if it was almost like a Telltale game, where it's much simpler to control on the phone, and you could go back and show older stories from the lore in that sense. Then it's kind of I'd rather see that in this game and actually be able to play it. But again, that also ties into the TV shows and the movies. there's way you can tie everything together and show more story in different mediums, whether it's phone game, movie, or TV show, than having it tied into a season and trying to figure out how to thread it all together and make it a cohesive experience.
Destiny Tactics. That's what we need. A Command and Conquer style game or XCOM style game.
They're gonna take.
Everyone, that's what everyone wants.
They're gonna
Would
take
you?
games
Yeah.
and turn it into a mobile
Yeah,
game.
what?
There you
That
go.
actually sounds like a lot of fun.
There we go.
do-
Let's write a
if they
pitch to
can-
Bungie.
If they was going to do it like that, I would like to see it as like a Halo Wars style.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, you could have.
Because I quite like Halo Wars. I don't really like the top-down kind of games, but you know,
An
but I
RTS
really
Destiny.
liked, I really liked Halo Wars.
Mhm.
So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Just
you've
give
got
me
enough.
a hack and slash style of Destiny where you have the spectral blades, and then you have the Dawn blade, and I don't know whatever Titans can do, punchy class or something
Juggernaut.
like
Just-
that. Juggernaut.
we
there
just
we go.
punch the shit out of everything. That's what we
There
do.
we go. Or Captain America shield throwing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That would be wild though.
Yeah, that's yeah. Cheers for that, Finn. But it's put a lot of made us think. Yeah, I like the idea, like a Gears Tactics, type RTS type Destiny game. That would be fun. Yeah.
I tried. I remember I did try Gears Tactics. I got my butt destroyed because I think that I probably set it too high for myself, so I kind of stopped playing. So,
Yeah.
oh man.
See, I liked what Titanfall did. EA did with the I can't remember the mobile game Titanfall, where it was like
There's a mobile game?
yeah. Oh, did
Didn't
you
even
never
know there
play
was
it?
one.
Yeah, oh, God,
I only know. I know there's a mobile. What's their looter? Not a looter shooter. Crap! I'm blinking that so hard. But they made a new battle royale game that's on mobile.
Oh,
Apex
Apex,
Legends.
yeah.
I only
Oh
know
no,
that one.
this is before then.
Titanfall,
This was
yeah.
it was it was actually Titanfall. I can't remember you'd have to Google it, the Titanfall mobile game. But essentially, it was you had your side, opponent had the other side, and it was it was PvP or you could play against computer. And the idea is you dropped your pilots down, which had to get to the other side, to the far end, to destroy the base. And then at a certain point, you can then drop Titans in, which start making their way around, destroying things.
It was called Titanfall Assault.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was really good, really good. You could get new pilots, new Titans, and yeah, you destroyed the defenses, get to the other side, destroyed the base, and you won the match. And it was really, really good game, and it was fun, because your pilots could like jump over stuff, zip line, snipers, flamethrowers, all sorts, and your Titans just walk around. You could have like the assault, the heavy, the melee ones. It was a good game. It was fun, but sadly EA said, I'm not making enough money off this and shut the thing down. But yeah, I did enjoy that. I know it was on Apple. I don't know if it dropped for anything else. I'm assuming it was for both Apple and Android. But yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game. Something like that would be cool. Keep sending Zavala around, running up and watching him get killed every time. Yeah, that would be fun. Right, okay. Let's move on to This Week in Destiny with Shadow Ball. Do you want to tell us what's happening this week, or what info's dropped on the new renamed system? Used to be This Week at Bungie, and it's now This Week in Destiny.
Yeah, so from what I could see with the This Week in Destiny, it was mainly just a Q&A. I didn't really look into it that much because I was more looking for the patch notes.
Yeah, I had to look
Good
over it, but
stuff.
they hinted at hand cannon changes, hinting at next change of exotics and what they could do with the kinetic subclass. So we're not subclass with the kinetic architect of weapons. So it was some interesting tidbits in there.
So yeah, into the patch notes, I guess, from June 13th. There was an issue with the dazzling trials emblem, where you could get it from the flawless chest without completing the requirements. They fixed that now, so you good luck getting that one. they fixed an issue in raids and dungeons. In the Ghost of Deep, players could damage the bosses through immunity shields. You can no longer do that. There's been a bunch of changes, fixes to armors. I'm not going to go through them all because there's loads, but some of them, like Kepri's Horn, could disable various non-enemy objects, which is strange. They fixed that. They fixed an issue with some braces where it wouldn't improve solar grenades. They've also fixed an issue with Helm of Saint 14, and it wasn't providing any effects whatsoever. Those were the main ones that I pulled out of there. You can look at go on Bungie.net and get a full look at it. Some of the weapons, some of the older Iron Banner special or power weapons had lost their scope glint. That's now been fixed. So people can now see when you're using them. The collective action weapon perk damage against Guardians, they've reduced that from 20% to 10%. There's a couple of fixes to the abilities where certain thrown projectiles would over-penetrate allied Titan barricades. And arc jolt damage to minor combatants was lower than intended. I think they've increased that now. The Twitch sub bounty emblem, Pulsar Approaching, is not reacquirable or equipable. They've fixed that, so you can equip that now. In the Triumphs, the Second Reckoning Triumph now displays the correct weapon names. The spent salvage keys Triumph now correctly progresses when the salvage key is spent. And they fixed an issue on the Ambitious Angler Triumph where all players were getting credit for one player catching an exotic fish. And
I hate fishing. I hate fishing. I moaned about that. I moaned about that before the new season started when we was going through that list of stuff. And I thought, I fucking hate fishing. Why would they want to put fishing in it? Oh, don't. It's just it's just so tedious.
I think I have to for one of the challenges. So
I actually kind of like it. It kind of breaks up the repetitive nature of just running an activity repeatedly.
No, I hate it. Shadow made me do it, and I hate every second of it.
I love fishing. All the people that I've played Destiny with over the last couple of weeks, I've been like, "Oh, let's go fishing," and they're like, "What the hell? What do you mean fishing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go do fishing."
I would sooner just put paint on a wall and watch it dry. That is that has more interest to me than freaking fishing. It stresses me out, the thought of it even being in game. Shame on you, Bungie. What a waste of resources. Could have come up with something better than fishing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shadow, carry on.
The last two things that are on the patch notes is the weekly challenges for Vanguard Ops and Gambit now reward the correct number of exotic engrams. And they have re-enabled Tier 1 exotic, focusing on Master Rahul.
Awesome. Right, well, I think that brings us to video game 20 questions. But before we play that, let me just bring that up. Let me just give a shout out to all our channel members. Thank you very much for joining, getting exclusive content, videos, polls to bid on, and we're actually starting where you can. Ash is going to put it together next week, I think. We're going to have like a community night where we can all play something together, just everyone to connect, have a good time. Nothing serious, just a good laugh. No one's recording, filming, posting anything. It's just a bunch of people having good times. So I would like to give a shout out to, just waiting for it to scroll across the screen when it comes on so I can get everyone's name and I don't miss anyone because I am terrible for that. Shout out to Muppet1169, Finber, UK Dazarus, Slayer Exclusive Gaming, Darren, Matt Kelly, Web Dave, Wandering Dutch, And Shadow Mole, back from the dead. Thank you, sir. Paul FAFC, thank you very much. It's very appreciated with all your support. Helps us keep coming up with new things to do, like the Destiny podcast that we have here and future content coming. So if you're interested, hit that join button, get exclusive access to Ash's head emo and now my head emo, which was weirdly asked for, which I do not understand, but Muppet loves just spamming my head everywhere, which just is so strange. But yeah, you've got plenty of content, videos, exclusive reviews. Hey, you want to watch Ash eat food topless? Hey, it's all on there. It's all on there. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm still confused how they thought the spicy kimchi, which is basically fermented cabbage, like some kind of crispy snack, tasted good. I'm like, that does not sound great.
It doesn't. I think Ash has one of them asbestos tongues where everything just tastes good. So it's all good to him. It's took that much damage over the years. Crazy times. So
apparently spicy stuff's done something to your retinol.
Yeah. Well, it's only because like where I've got a window here in front of me, it's only because I've had thunderstorms. It's been cloudy. Hadn't it been cloudy, I wouldn't have been able to be on camera because the sun would just shine right through, and all I would do is look like a light bulb, and that is it. Yeah, I would just be bright like a light bulb.
You look like a light bulb anyway, but you know.
Yeah. Alexa's messing about with my lights, so I daren't ask her to do anything else because just make it worse. Yeah, Alexa, turn lights down to 20%. Okay. That's it. She tells me okay, and she turns it slightly. That's slightly better, actually. So, video game 20 questions. The way this game works is I have a game. The panel have 20 questions, with the last question being the guest who guessed the game I have. And I can only answer yes or no. Things I can bend a little bit just to help if, depending on the question. If they guess the game before the questions are up and it's wrong, they lose. The streak has continued for weeks now, so we're doing very well. You are not allowed to use the internet, Google, books. You have to use your gaming knowledge, the stuff that you've stored up here over the years to help you guess the game. Chat, please jump in. Help the panel if you've got any questions that you can recommend to ask. Muppet, please stop spanning my head everywhere. It's just so disturbing. It's unbelievable. But other than that, let the questioning begin.
Is it a shooter? I'll start off.
It does have shooting aspects, so yes. There is more than shooting. Let's say that way, but shooting's one of the main mechanics.
Is it a platform exclusive?
No.
Is it multiplayer?
No.
Okay. Did it debut? And I keep forgetting my generation number, so I'm just gonna start with one of the consoles in a generation. Did it launch on the PS4 generation?
I'll tell. It didn't launch technically the PS4 generation, but it did launch on the PS4.
Okay, so it's a
cross-generation.
Yeah, cross-generational game, has shooting mechanics, not exclusive, not multiplayer. Is it a let me put it number 4. Is it a horror game?
No. That's 5. Come on, Shadow. You've been a bit quiet.
I'm thinking.
Muppets putting chat. It's your mum. No, it's not.
Is it open world?
Yes.
Okay.
And just remember, I think Triple's doing it for us. If you look in the private chat, he's just making a list of the answers to the question, so you can see where we're up to. I don't look at that, so you can talk amongst yourselves and put stuff in there if you want to. Chat, come on. Apart from Muppy asking if it's my mum, there's many things you could ask.
So it's an open world game. It's on PS4, but it did debut on PS4. So
it sounds like
I'm
just conferring with
and it's not
the panel here. It sounds like it could be something like GTA, Horizon, something like that.
I'm thinking, is it okay? So my question is: it an RPG?
Yes.
Okay, so now this again, talking with the ones we're playing, I'm thinking along the lines of Fallout, maybe Fallout. I'm thinking because here's
the thing though, is that as soon as I said GTA, BMG started smiling.
No, I wasn't smiling at that. I was smiling for what Muppy's putting in chat.
Grand Theft Auto RPG though.
No,
and it's not multiplayer either. So unless it's a single player, because all the was it San Andreas and older titles, but technically
GTA 5 is old enough that it's been across 3 generations. It would have been on the PS3 and the 360,
and it's a multiplayer game. And he said it's not.
And you would have had online at that point, so it can't be that.
All right. Anyone else have any other questions before I ask one?
You've got stuff like live service, perspective, series.
Yeah, you said it's not multiplayer though. So I don't know any single player live service games out there.
Is it?
That's true. That's true.
Is it third person's perspective?
No.
Okay, so it can't be Fallout then, because you can go third person.
Can you create your own character, or does it have a static protagonist?
Does it have?
Can you create your own? Can you create your own character, or okay? So there's no locked protagonist.
You can create your own character, and I'll give you a little freebie. You can be male, female, non-binary. Pretty much whatever you want to create. That might help you a bit, because there's not many games that do that.
Shooting mechanics. So it does have shooting mechanics. It's not a platform exclusive. It's a single player game. It's cross-generational, but did it launch? And this is a question. If it's cross-generational, then did it launch on did it launch on PS3 or yeah, that's the question.
Is that a question? Sorry.
Yes. Did it launch on the PS3 generation again?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not. That's 10.
So it has to be a newer game then. That's also cross-platform.
When you find out what game it is, you'll definitely know why it can't run on older.
So okay, I'm thinking it's on PS4, so again, it has to be cross-generational. So it started
on Xbox One as well.
Yeah, or Series. Third person. Is the story centered? Is it like post-apocalyptic story, or
no?
It's probably modern day storytelling.
Try and narrow down developer, publisher, or country of developer.
Is it a Western RPG or JRPG?
I would say Western. It's definitely not JRPG. It's a well-known developer. Everybody's heard of them.
Yes. It is an RPG. It is open world.
Western RPG.
Western-ish. Okay, I'm thinking of any type of Western-ish RPGs that we had in this generation.
That's open world.
Yes.
The single player. It sounds like it's from the previous gen onwards.
Yeah, Muppet says, at 47, am I old enough to have heard of it? Yes, you would have heard of it. We've all heard of it. This game has been through a lot and a lot of changes. That might have helped you there. There was a little bit of a hint.
Long lasting. Yeah, that I was thinking Division for a second, but he said it's not a third person shooter. Been through a lot of changes. Oh, well, no, you said, okay, does it take place in, wait a second. Yeah, I asked, does it take place in some future city with...
I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is.
We got plenty of questions left, so let's just keep going.
Can I take a guess at the game?
Wait 1 second.
Yeah, if you do that,
has the DLC been announced for it recently?
Yes.
There we go. We know this.
Can I take?
Last question I have to ask: does it star a famous?
Well, wait on the guess, because if you guess, if for some odd reason we're wrong,
this is going to be the last one. Or for me, does it star a familiar actor as their?
A very familiar actor.
Okay. Yeah, that's
just nail it to the wall. Is Keanu Reeves in this game playing a character?
He very much so is, yes.
Well, I wonder what it could be.
Yep.
Adam, all you got this.
Should I take a stab at it then?
Yeah. Go right ahead. We know what it is.
I'm going to ask one last
Xbox
one.
showcase.
Is Idris Elba, or whatever you pronounce his name, supposed to be?
Yes.
Okay, we know what it is.
Yeah.
Is it Cyberpunk 2077?
It is Cyberpunk 2077, released in 2020 by CD Projekt Red. But yeah, good. Yeah, it's. I kind of thought I gave it a bit more of a hint there. It was, because when that game came out, everyone was either unplayable or barely playable. The PS4 and Xbox version were near enough you just couldn't play it because it was that bad. Definitely couldn't play on the PlayStation 3. Jesus Christ.
I think I was playing on One X.
Taken off the store on PlayStation for a while there.
Yeah, I think that was more... Go ahead.
When I first played it on PC, I actually killed a 2 terabyte drive.
Damn.
Just straight up killed it.
Yeah, they had to take it off the store because
PlayStation grab something really quick.
Their PlayStation's refund policy was being super stressed, so it was like, you know what, just take it off. We usually don't give refunds. We're just gonna take the game off and give money back to everyone.
They
lost a lot of money because of all the issues and how broken the game was. They lost hundreds of millions, was it?
They lost. I know their stock plummet.
Yeah, stock took a huge dive.
Yeah,
but they brought it back.
Yeah, they brought it. I was at. I'm trying to think. Did I play it? I think I played it on Xbox One X first, and I was that rare group that actually got through a solid amount. I say solid. I put I clocked in a year or two ago was 40 hours, give or take, and I didn't have much in terms of brokenness with it. I think the funniest glitch I had was like I backstabbed somebody. He just assumed the T pose and fell backwards. I was like, okay, he's asserting dominance. I'm sorry, sir. I'm gonna leave you alone.
Yeah, I've actually got the physical version of the game, and the reason for this is I didn't buy it at launch. I wasn't one of those people. Feel sorry for you.
Totally was.
But I picked it up. I picked it up on a Black Friday sale. It was only $10 because they were just trying to get people to play it.
Get rid of it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It's funny because
76 situation.
It's funny because I've never actually bought the game, and I've got about, I think I got about halfway through it. But yeah, I never actually paid for it because I'm game sharing with a couple of my friends on Steam.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I'm smart about it.
Yeah, like I said, I did get it day one, and I did enjoy it. So at least again, it was one of those situations where most people, especially on console, had a bad experience, but my experience was mostly solid. So I was like, I can see what's there, and I like I said, I have over like 40-ish hours when it first came out. And I kind of like dropped it like a bad habit, and I haven't touched it since.
Did the DLC make you want to play it though?
Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't beat the campaign and I stopped immediately because the changes that they're introducing with this DLC, it'll be worth just going back and just starting a whole new character and going from there.
Yeah, this is it. I've literally, because I bought Cyberpunk 2077, based on obviously with The Witcher and stuff, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a really good game. I think I managed an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and it just got to the point where it was unplayable. Literally, you're killing bad guys, and they all had dildos in the inventory. I don't know what the hell that was about. Literally, why has this guy got 6 different colored dildos? What's the point? Why? Why?
Best reward or something like that.
Oh, it was just bizarre. It's like this, drug dealer in a den, and he's just pockets are filled with dildos. It's like, what the hell's going on? What?
A pocket full of them. Wow.
Yeah. No, I actually really enjoyed the game. I did beat the campaign, and I've got 27 hours and 46 minutes into it. I did. Yeah, I played it probably. I can't remember how long that was after release. However long Black Friday sale would have been after the release of the game. So I played it on Series X, and it ran fine for me for the most part. And I think that might have been. I can't remember if that was before or after the next gen patch. But yeah,
it's before.
Yeah, because I think the Series X could play it. I'm trying to think if you could play it at higher resolutions. It just wasn't built for it, because I think it was probably playing off the 1X and the PS4 Pro versions.
I played it on the Series X, and I was having crashes, and like faces were missing off characters and things like that. It was out of sync.
Character driving invisible cars.
Do you remember near the start? After you got through like the very start bit, the bird with the tits and all that. Oh god, that was good. I enjoyed that bit. That was a good bit of the game. I did a lot of inspecting just to make sure she was all right there. And you kind of go through that bit of story bit where you before we end up back in your apartment, you got to go downstairs to meet the guy at the front, and there's that guy kicking the hell out of the vending machine. He's like shouting it and kicking the hell out of it. Do you remember that? And then I shot him because I thought it was fun just to shoot him. And obviously I got the police on me, but the police were coming out of the vending machine. They were appearing from behind me and coming out the vending machine.
Dispensing justice. Oh no.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm out. I
can't that's
do
enough. I played that. Yeah, I did the mission for the taxi company, and I guess that was part of the actual sequence where I like hopped into my car and a car face out of nowhere just knocked my car all around the place, and I was just flipping. And he was like, "Oh man, what was that about?" Like, bro, you're upside down flipping across the world, and you're just nonchalant about a car spying out of nowhere and just ramming you off the road.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's got some good bits. I'm looking forward to I want to jump back in fresh, but I'm debating whether do I wait until Phantom Limit is dropped and then go and play it because they're making big game changes. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I don't want. Yeah. Because if I play it now, I'm going to see all the stuff that I didn't see the first time round because of all the changes there. But then to change it all again and then go back, it would be too close in time-wise to jump back. So I think I'll hold off. I've got I've
because
got a few things to play.
I believe what they said, they're overhauling the police system. The from the anime, what was the cyber cosis, whatever it's called? They're
Summit
introducing something like
Runners.
that. Yeah,
Summit Runners. What was it called?
yeah, I forget the name of it, but the concept they're dealing with of having too many cyber enhancements. I don't think your character is going to go crazy or anything like that, but you have like actual negative impact of some degree on your character. They're redoing the skill trees, I believe, adding more depth and changing things around. So at this rate, it would make sense just to go back once the DLC drops. If they're adding a whole bunch of gameplay enhancements along with the narrative being added with was it Sons Liberty or something? I don't know the name. Something Liberty. I keep
Phantom Liberty.
Phantom Liberty.
I don't know why I said Sons of Liberty. It might be a show or something, but Phantom Liberty. And so I would definitely recommend just hopping in when the DLC drops because they're making a whole bunch of quality of life changes at that point.
Yeah. And I'm going to pick it up.
Let's hope they don't just utterly destroy the game when with the new DLC.
I think they learned. I would hope they learned their lesson at this point.
I hope they've learned the lesson.
From what they've shown, from what they've shown with Phantom Liberty, because we got to see quite a lot of that. I think they're not going to make the same mistake twice. They've obviously seen what they did the first time round, and they will not make that mistake again. Because CD Projekt Red are normally they're good. They're good at what they do, and they messed up. They know they messed up. They held their hands up, saying we fucked up, and they fixed it. And it is a good game. Everyone sort of remembers how it was to what it is now. But I think with this, because if I remember rightly, I can't remember if it was before Phantom Liberty was decided, but wasn't there another DLC that was you got free if you bought the Cyberpunk Xbox One X? It was the actual Cyberpunk themed Xbox One X, and you got the game, but you also got an expansion for free. But I think I can't remember if they cancelled the expansion or Phantom Liberty was the expansion, but then they were refunding people X amount because they said they couldn't release it on the previous
generations. I don't recall another DLC. I know they said they were supposed to be making a standalone, or maybe not standalone multiplayer experience, but I don't remember a DLC being introduced before Phantom Liberty. Maybe they did make some changes along the way.
Unless it was before the actual name the Phantom Liberty was announced. I just remember something to do with you got an expansion with Cyberpunk if you got the Xbox One X Cyberpunk themed, and then they had to go back and said, look, we can't make this for this, and that's probably what it was. Yeah, which makes sense because it really did not. It's a game that should not have been released on Xbox One or PlayStation 4. It shouldn't have even existed. They should have just said no. Instead of being greedy, trying to get sales from all sides, they should have said no. This is Series X, S, PS5, and PC only, and that's personally that's the route they should have gone. But
keep in mind that was in development for that long. It was developed for Xbox One and PS4. It wasn't developed with next gen consoles in mind. It was only updated to that, so theoretically it should have ran just fine. But even they had to go in
2013
and tweak. Yeah, they had to tweak back the amount of people in the cities and different graphics so they could get their game to run, and they just. It's funny because it was developed with the older consoles in mind, but then once they saw the newer ones, they tried to push it really far for that. So, it's kind of crazy how it's like, how did you think this is going to run if, I mean, you would have had to scale it for both, but your vision of the game left the old consoles behind and you still tried to make it work somehow. So.
I will say something though. I have had a chance to test out the ray tracing overdrive.
Okay,
that was fun. My computer nearly caught fire with it because my GPU's not quite good enough for it. It definitely took a massive hit. I think
I should try it on mine.
Basically, what they're doing is they're changing the technology from ray tracing to path tracing. So it's it's completely different lighting system.
Okay, so it's going to be
Small.
more similar to what they talked about using in Starfield.
Think so, yeah. Yeah, it's just a different technology of calculating where the light rays are going to be going, bouncing off, and supposedly it's supposed to be bouncing more often. So the reflections in like water and glass and stuff should look a lot better. I mean, when I tried it, I was literally on like 2 frames. But when I play games, like when I sit and play games, like for instance Destiny 2, and I crank the graphics, I'm saying with like 165 frames. So yeah, you can tell how much of a heavy hitter the ray tracing overdrive is.
My PC's that old; it overheats playing Minesweeper.
I think it must need a new graphics card.
It's literally a potato held together by dust. Because I'm a console gamer. I'm not a PC game player. I use the PC for doing my accounts and podcasting. That's the extent it gets. And even then, it gets a bit dicky for doing that.
Yeah, I have a okay PC that I told myself this is going to be for video editing purposes, but then it was like Destiny comes to PC. I was like, well, there you go. I'm playing on my PC now.
Man. Even if I finally get the money together for, because it's not cheap, even buying a little bit older than the current stuff. Because I was looking at a what is that? Ryzen CPU, the 5800 X3D, and an RX 6800 XT. Which getting that newer CPU, and I also have to get a all-in-one liquid cooler.
Oh, no.
Like even those 3 parts are about $1,000. It's like 1,000, 1,100, depending on what price they're at.
But when it comes to like computers, it depends on what you're doing with it. If you're video editing, yes, go for more CPU. If you're playing games, go more GPU. Splurge more on your GPU.
I need to balance out because I upgraded my CPU and I need it better.
With my PC, I kind of balanced it between being able to do both video editing, graphics, creating graphics and motion animation and gaming on it. So it's kind of an all rounder rather than being more workstation.
I can play chess now on my PC.
Oh, can you? You could probably play chess on your bald head, mate.
Hey. I pay for this.
Sounds like your phone's stronger than your PC at this point, probably.
Honestly, it's like I've had to the power button's playing up. So what I've had to do is I've had to put it on an angle, prop some old DVDs that have never been taken out of the packaging underneath. So then when I push the power button and hit it a couple of times, it powers up. He's holding on for dear life, but it's one of them sort of fixes itself. So it's like, it fixes itself. Why should I upgrade it when I don't really use it?
So what you're saying, BMG, is when you want to turn your PC on, you need a construction site and a few hammers to turn it on.
Yeah. Where's my... Where? Here's what I have to hit it with on the corner to get it to power on. And I get a couple of jabs of that, and it powers on. So it's like, and I spoke to a guy he works at a local computer store where they repair, upgrade, and all that. And he's like, oof. And as soon as he starts going, oof, it's like, well, that's going to cost me money, so I'm not interested. And he's like, well, if you bring it in, we'll have a look. It might need this, it might need that. And I'm like, no, I'll just keep it.
You said it's a dies. Right?
I already know what
No,
it needs.
PC.
I already know what it needs.
Is a PC.
Oh, is it pre-built or did you put it together?
Honestly, it's...
Put it this way, back from what BMG's told me about his system, it sounds like the sort of PC you could pick up for about 20 quid on Facebook.
But it's got cool lights inside, so it keeps going. It's got like a nice blue.
No, I'll show you something cool. So
is it as cool as mine?
Can't even really. I'd have to turn off the things. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can just see it. Yeah.
You can kind of see, if you could see, if I turn the background off. Actually,
I'm still rocking a what was it, 16?
Here we go.
Wow. Look at all them colors.
Oh,
yeah. Now you can kind of see it a little bit better.
Yeah,
oh, pretty.
Like
Yeah, that's that is for. There we go. That's 4 Corsair ML120s that you're seeing lit up green there. And then it's 4 sticks of 16 gigabyte RAM. That's Corsair RGB Proventions. And then I've only got, which is why I kind of want to upgrade and be a little bit easier to edit videos I make for YouTube. And, possibly playing games and streaming them from PC instead of, some of the stuff I can pull off of Steam and show it off, because I like checking out indies on Steam and playing some of them, checking them out from Steam Next Fest, and like you've seen a lot of the indie showcases, just a lot of demos you can try out. That I only got a Ryzen 5 3600 and a GTX 1650 Super. So it's not bad. I mean, it works for what I use it for, but it'd be nice to have a little bit more power in there, especially with the current games if you're going to try and play them. And you can just, I've got Game Pass Ultimate, so I can pull all the games from there. A lot of the newer games are requiring 16 gigs of, 16 gigs of VRAM on your graphics card?
It's 12.
So you have to have at least RX 6800 XT or higher, basically.
So I just seen in the chat there, Thimber say my laptop is so old and bad, when it makes some old loud noise when it's starting. So Thimber, here is my laptop, right? It looks like a normal laptop until I turn it round.
Oh no!
I kind of I don't know. So the hard drive's missing.
What did you do to it?
This drive's missing. The bottom kind of fell off. I have the bottom here.
How does it kind of fall off?
Well,
I
took the screws out because I was going to upgrade it.
Put a new storage in there.
It did just fall off on its own.
He said it just fell off.
So I pulled the bottom off to upgrade the RAM and put an SSD in it. And I may or may not have lost the screws.
Yeah. Okay. I get you there. Yeah. I have a Lenovo laptop that I probably had since 2014, maybe 2015.
Okay.
And I did the whole, at least put a new SSD in there, and I managed to put it together properly, but I guess I misscrewed some parts because now it kind of like pops open every now and then. Because when the hinges are opened up, so it's still hanging in there. But I kind of want to upgrade my computer first before I get a new laptop.
So how do you check? How do you check what your console's got?
The console or your computer?
PC, what it's actually built into it.
PC,
sorry.
Something you could do in
on Windows.
Yeah, just go into your settings and
how about this? How about I show you?
What's it?
Settings,
system, and then about, and then it'll read off everything you got.
Yeah.
Like this thing, you even notice that I've got a Asus ROG Strix U550F motherboard.
Yeah. Right. Oh, here we go.
What kind of software you're rocking?
I'll just go what it says on here. Right, processor is a AMD A10 5800K with Radeon HD graphics 3.8 GHz. I don't know what that means. That means nothing to me.
God,
I don't know what that is.
That's worse than that's worse than my laptop. At least I've got an AMD R5 R9 APU and R5 graphics in it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. My computer's old. My computer's very old.
Yeah, if you wanna get out into actually making your own PC, because sometimes it can wind up a bit cheaper depending on what parts you're putting into it. You can check out send you a link later. There's a couple of guys I watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
They're tech tubers, both Paul's Hardware and Robitech, that they have PC building videos where they show you step by step, and I had to watch one of them even so I could put this together. I had no clue what I was doing. Before I watched a ton of videos and got an idea kind of the kind of PC I wanted to build based on what I'm doing with it. But yeah, and then piecing it together.
It was fun. I'm scared to crack mine open again. I had to crack it open 2 more times to replace the CPU because I got a Ryzen 3900, and I wanted to put like a extra bit of RAM. And yeah, let's just say it didn't go back together properly the third time I opened it up. So yeah, but
no, the reason I've got that motherboard is because when I tried to I thought about putting it all-in-one liquid cooler in there, and parts of this PC used to be in a Lenovo Legion desktop. That when I tried to change out the bracket on it, and I pulled the bracket for the CPU off the back, it damaged the motherboard and stripped part of it off.
Ouch.
So that cost me a couple $100, and I'm like, okay, well, if I'm gonna have to replace the motherboard anyways, I might as well just pull the GPU and the CPU out of this and pull out the RAM, and then just replace everything else and stick it all in a nice Corsair 4000D case.
Yeah, I've got one of them.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've got a bit of a plant growing out the back of my PC.
It's a spore.
Right, we will call it a night there because we've been going on for 2.25 hours. Wow, we've gone on for quite a bit.
My brother's hounding me to hop on Divinity Original Sin 2.
That's it. So we will call it a night. We will jump from there. Just want to thank everyone in chat for being in. Thank you to the panel. Triple Combo Gaming, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube and Twitter, as well as, I suppose, Twitch for now, since they're doing some funky stuff. I'm thinking to even stick with Twitch in the future, but at Triple Combo Gaming. And yeah, those are my social links.
Awesome. Back from the dead, Wood. How would you like to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, thanks BNG and Chat 'em all for having me on. It's great to chat with you guys, and Triple Combo. I'll be able to check out your stuff now. It's nice meeting you.
Same to you, man.
Yeah, you can check me out. I live stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights at 8 p.m. Central. And then I'll edit some videos occasionally for over on my YouTube channel and on Twitter, all at Back from the Dead 1. And then you can find me on PSN and Xbox at Back from Dead 1.
Awesome. Shout them all. And where can everyone find you?
Pretty much everywhere and anywhere. Right here.
Just like walk outside and you'll be stood there.
Maybe.
Staring through people's windows type situation, you know?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's all under the same name, Shadowmall.
Shadowmall.
Over that way.
That way. You're that way. But yes, that's it. And you can find me here, obviously, over at the XBN Network on Twitter, at Boldman Gamer on Twitter, as Boldman Gamer on PlayStation, and Boldman Gamer on Xbox. We'll be live again Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. BST for the PSN Party Podcast. Sentinel will be hosting. I can't tell you who the guests are because he is the Vice President of Talent Relations and has a big spreadsheet of loads of people, and I have no idea who's on it because he keeps it up to himself until the day. Other than that, thank you, Triple Combo Gaming. Thank you, Back from the Dead. It's been awesome to have you on. Thank you for coming on. Sorry it took us so long to get here. With a bit of a delay, I had problems with internet and things, but we made it. I'm not sure next show for Destiny. We'll figure it out. depending what comes out news-wise. Maybe I'll just get a few people and we'll just chat Destiny. No news, just talk pure
Just
Destiny,
do like
what we enjoy.
a raid night or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. You know, a bit like AA Anonymous. We all sit around. Hi, my name's BMG, and I'm a Destiny player. You know, we'll figure it. We'll figure it.
Hopefully we should have
AA made in there.
Hopefully we'll have Muzzes with us next time.
Yes. Hopefully he's with us next time. But yeah, probably the next big news-wise is going to be the showcase. Whether we're live streaming or doing a post show, we'll figure that out closer at the time. But other than that, everyone, thank you very much for joining, and we will see you next time. Good night.